let's talk about the ice bowl method and why I'm not doing it. Now, you've probably seen this hack on TikTok. It was trending towards the end of last year, and if you search ice bowl method, you will see a bunch of people dunking their hair into bowls of ice water as part of their styling process, claiming that it makes their curls look better. TikTok is a crazy place. So I decided to look into this and see why are so many people doing this, because honestly, it sounds terrible. But I thought maybe there's something to it, maybe there's a reason why they're doing it, and realized that this trend makes zero sense. There are no proven benefits to it. Some anecdotal, maybe some people say it helps, but I'm gonna talk about exactly what the bowl method is, the claims around it, and I'll explain why this is all BS and I'm not doing it and you probably shouldn't waste your time either. So the ice bowl method is very similar to the bowl method, which is where you dip your hair into a bowl of water and you scrunch and repeat this multiple times with the idea of getting more moisture in your hair to help your curls be more defined and less frizzy. So the ice bowl method is slightly similar to this. You're dunking your hair in a bowl of water. However, it is ice cold. It's got ice in it. You just dip it in, hold it for a few seconds, and you take it out. That's basically the gist of it. I've seen a couple of variations on this. Sometimes people do this before they style their hair. Sometimes they do it after their styling products are in their hair. I guess it just depends. And the claims around this are reduce frizz, lock in curl definition, add shine, and seal the cuticle. Where did this come from? Probably TikTok. Like I mentioned earlier, we've heard the myth or the idea that cold water seals the hair cuticle, so it probably came from there. Somebody decided to do some crazy thing for viral views on social media, and I'm sure that's where it came from, but I don't know. I'm totally guessing here. So why does the ice bowl method not make any sense at all? Well, first off, our hair is made of keratin, which is not a living thing that can open and close. It is just protein. It doesn't tighten, it doesn't open and close like our pores can, like our skin does. It behaves totally different. And that's separate from porosity, right? I'm talking about the claims around this, which involves the cuticle of the hair. So the cuticle of the hair is the outer layer of the hair, and it is like the first layer of protection for our hair, helping to protect it from damage. Now, using cold water to close this cuticle doesn't really have any scientific backing to it. And in fact, Mains by Mel did a video on this a couple of years ago where she showed that it does absolutely nothing for hair. So people who say that they rinse their hair with cold water at the end and notice a difference, it's just anecdotal. The only thing that actually closes the cuticle is a lower pH or more acidic product, which is conditioners. Shampoos are a higher pH and they open the cuticle, and then we close it with our conditioners, which is what seals the hair. If you've listened to any hair expert talk about it, they always talk about how conditioner is what seals the hair, nothing else. And that's because of the pH level of conditioners and leave-in conditioners. And so they're the things that can close the cuticle. Water does not have the same pH as conditioners do, and so it doesn't do anything. And changing the temperature of the water, whether you make it hotter or colder, doesn't change the pH of the water. It stays the same. Okay, so there is no science to support this. Let's talk about the downsides to trying it. Aside from it being very uncomfortable and possibly messy, which is my biggest complaint about the bowl method, I feel like it's unnecessary for the results. Like, it's all this work and mess and really like not really gonna make that much of a difference. Same thing here, except it's also cold. It's like negative, negative, negative. I don't know why people do this. Now, the cold temperature can also reduce the blood flow in the scalp, and it doesn't align with how styling products are designed. A lot of products are designed to work better with heat. They're heat activated. So having your hair super cold is going to negate some of those effects. Now, it's not damaging your hair, nothing bad can happen, so you're definitely welcome to try it and see, and maybe you see a difference. If you want to keep doing it, then go ahead, be my guest. I'm just here to tell you there's no science to support it, so if you don't want to do it, or if you're looking for a reason to stop, then this is it. So let's talk more about the goals that people are trying to achieve when they do this ice bowl method and some better alternatives. The first one is to reduce frizz. Frizz is usually caused by a moisture imbalance, friction, or a lack of hold, not the water temperature. What actually works to reduce frizz is ensuring that your hair is properly hydrated. So you want to make sure you're using good conditioners, deep conditioners on a regular basis, sealing that hair before you move on to your styling products. Then you want to make sure that you're using a gel or mousse to hold your hair. This is key because if you are skipping this and you are only using a conditioner or a cream to style, your hair will probably frizz up over time. That's okay if that's what you want, but if you're trying to avoid the frizz, then you really need to lock that curl pattern in shape and prevent it from puffing out, from frizzing. And that's something that you can only do with hold, and hold products are typically gels and mousses. Other styling products will sometimes have a light to medium hold, but very rare. Typically, the other products are for moisturizing and defining reasons, and what you need is hold to prevent the frizz from happening. Also, don't towel dry your hair. Use a hair towel, like a t-shirt material is perfect, that is ideal. And don't rub the hair when you are drying it, just kind of squeeze and blot it to remove the excess water. You can also diffuse, as long as you're diffusing properly. You don't want to be blowing the hair around, but diffusing the hair typically leads to less frizz than air drying, for most people, not for everybody. And then you want to make sure that you are removing buildup on a regular basis, because having buildup on your hair can lead to extra frizz. So make sure you use a clarifying shampoo at least once a month, if not more often if your hair needs it. The second goal people are trying to achieve with this ice bowl method is extra definition. In this case, the ice bowl method can actually help because you're introducing more water into the hair, but it's doing the same thing that the regular bowl method is. The temperature of the water is not making a difference here. It's just the fact that you're squeezing more water into the hair as you are styling it. And that is going to lead to less frizz and more definition. However, when you are introducing this much water, you are diluting your styling products. You don't want your hair to be soaking wet when you are applying your products, or you don't want to dip your hair after you've applied all your products into water and have half of the product drip right out, because it's going to look very defined now when it dries, but in a couple of hours it's going to start to frizz and you're going to lose that definition because you lost all of the styling product that was holding the curls. So if you're going to do something like the bowl method, then make sure that you are applying your styling products after you have dipped your hair in the water and squeezed a bunch of the water out, preferably microplop first, so that your hair is not too wet, and you apply your styling products and you can achieve better definition. Other things that work for increased definition are glazing, scrunching, raking in products, using a styling brush to style your hair. This one is more time consuming, however, it leads to the most definition. So if that's something you're looking for, you can try some brush styling routines. Again, microplopping instead of towel drying. That is when you're taking the hair towel and you are pressing up against the scalp and squeezing the water out that way instead of drying it or like wrapping it up on top of your head. And then letting your hair dry with minimal touching. So you can air dry, you can diffuse, but don't really disrupt your hair during that process, because the more you touch it, the more frizz you're gonna get, the less defined your hair is gonna be. And the last goal is adding shine. Now, shine comes from having a smooth cuticle and how the light reflects on it. So the smoother the cuticle is, the more light reflection you're gonna have, the shinier your hair is gonna appear, which means that some hair types are not gonna be as shiny no matter what you do, because there are some hair types that are just not very smooth. The curlier and kinkier your hair is, it's less straight, there's less surface area for the light to reflect off of, so it is more dull looking. And there's really not much you can do about that. A couple of things that you can do to your hair to increase the shine is make sure, again, that it is adequately hydrated. The more moisturized your hair is, the more likely it's going to be shinier and less dull. You can use lightweight oils and serums that add shine, but just keep in mind that these things are superficial. You're not doing anything to the hair, you're just coating the hair with something that will add that reflection. A lot of times these things build up, so make sure that you are clarifying on a regular basis. Which leads me to making sure that you're removing buildup regularly, because buildup on the hair will reduce the shine of your hair. And the last thing is that the healthier your hair is, typically the shinier it is. So if you have a lot of hair damage, whether it's chemical or heat damage, it's going to have less shine to it. So some of these things, depending on your hair type, you can control. You can add some things to make it shinier, but remember that some hair types just don't have that much shine, and it's something you're probably just gonna have to accept. So instead of dipping your hair in ice cold water, you can try some of these techniques that I mentioned in the video if you are trying to achieve one of those goals: reduce frizz, increase definition, or shinier hair. It is totally okay to be curious about trends, but we don't necessarily have to try every single one of them. Curly hair care really does not have to involve crazy hacks. I know that those things go viral, they're really popular, they make great content to watch, but it's really a lot simpler than people make it out to be. You don't need to be doing anything crazy to take care of your curly hair. And remember that just because something works for somebody else doesn't mean it will work for you, even if it seems like you have the same exact hair. If you see something online that you want to try, just think about it. Would this make sense for me and my hair? All right, so let me know in the comments, have you tried this ice bowl hack or any other crazy curly hair hacks? And let me know what the results were. If you want to find out more about curly hair trends that I wish would just go away already, then watch this video next. It's called Curly Hair Trends That Need to Die in 2025.